Hello, I'm pleased to join your assembly today. Iain from the Edinburgh Interfaith Association has kindly invited me to share with you a few words about who I am, what I believe, a little about my faith, and how we relate to LGBT issues. Iain's very kindly provided me with a series of questions for me to answer, and I'll try my very best to endeavour to give answers to those. The first question is an important one, and it's what is my name? And my name is Peter Fairbrother, and I'm minister of a community called Unitarians in Edinburgh. He asked my age, and my age is 48 years old. Yes, I don't look that old. Maybe I do. I certainly feel each and every one of those years. And he asks my interests. I have a number of interests. I guess you could say esoterically, I enjoy being out in the countryside. I love taking a walk on the wild side through forests and through fields. I love being by the sea. I get a lot of nurture from being by water, and anywhere outdoors is pretty good to me. I'm also a big fan of Doctor Who. Certainly the present series is very good, but my Doctor is the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, the guy with the big scarf and the floppy hat. And that's the Doctor I grew up with, so he's got a special place in my heart. I'm also a huge fan of the Eurovision Song Contest. For those who haven't encountered the contest, Google it. A lot of the shows are online, and I like, when possible, to journey across Europe and even sometimes further afield to watch the contest live, to be part of the arena and to see all the different acts and singers and groups and bands perform. It's an amazing thing, and it gives me a lot of joy. Iain's asking me a little bit about my faith, and my faith is Unitarian. And Unitarianism is a faith that seeks to embrace the totality of us, our unity within ourselves, our unity in community, and our unity out into the world. We're an open-minded and open-hearted community, and we embrace diversity. We welcome everyone. We don't have any scriptures or holy texts per se, and we encourage people to explore what their spirituality means to them. What does being spiritual mean individually for each of us? How is that spirituality expressed in the world? And importantly, what is its impact? We don't have prescriptions. We don't tell people what to do around how they live their lives, but we do encourage people to actively explore what feels right for them. We ask people to connect with a sense of their consciousness, and also to connect more widely to a sense of unity awareness, how we interconnect with each other and what that means for the whole world, and how we relate as a human family, and also more widely in our biodiversity with other species, other life forms on this planet, and maybe also beyond. How long have you been religious? I'm asked here, looking at my wee list of questions. I'm not sure whether I would describe myself as religious. For me, religion means how one's faith and spirituality is contained within institutional structures. And although we have structures within Unitarianism, and we wouldn't be able to operate out with those structures, I don't feel bound by any form of constraint that might arise from operating within a religious framework. So I would certainly describe myself as spiritual in my own understanding of the term. Religious, I'm not so sure. How important is faith in your life? It's very important in my life because it's the way I seek to live. Um, as Unitarians, our emphasis is not on prescribed ways of being, but on a focus in on what our values are and how we bring those values into the world. And for me, values such as inclusivity, compassion, and kindness are very important. And that's at the heart of my understanding of Unitarianism. And it's at the heart of how I would wish to be in the world. It's the heart of how I wish to be in the world. And like everyone else, I'm trying and working with all elements of myself to bring forward the best that I can be. Iain's asked me to touch upon how Unitarians relate to LGBT issues. And this in some ways is a very simple question to answer because ours is an open and inclusive and loving community, and we welcome everyone through our doors. Whereas some religious traditions have in the past, and some sadly still do, have discriminatory elements that affect how LGBT people can be, both in their communities and wider. In Unitarians in Edinburgh, we have long welcomed um, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and questioning, and interfaith communities through our doors. This has been a long established element in our community. Um, Long before equal marriage, Unitarians across the world were engaged in holding blessing ceremonies, officiating for same-sex couples. And that's something I feel very proud about in our community, that we have long recognized the importance of marriage for people of the same sex. As I said at the beginning, ours is a community of spiritual explorers, and we welcome diversity. We welcome diversity in all its forms, and we don't see the need to discriminate on the basis of race or sexuality or age or economic status or any of those issues. That's not important to us. What is important to us is our wholeness, our coming together in recognizing what is common to each of us, what is common to each of us in the challenges we face in the world, in the joys that we share together, in our sadnesses, in our grief, in our surprise. All of these things are important, and all of these are common human experiences, including sexuality. So we don't discriminate, we welcome all. And in fact, the Edinburgh congregation have appointed their first gay minister, and that's me. And I'm very grateful to have had the unanimous support of my community. And sexuality was never an issue as soon as I stepped in the door of St. Mark's, and that I'm very proud about. We are a diverse and loving community with people from a variety of different sexualities, and that's the way it should be. That's community, and that's what I'm proud to lead. Why is this important to you? Why is the issue of LGBT rights important? Because they're human rights, and they affect me, they affect you, regardless of our sexuality. Each of us have a right, an unquestionable right, to love who we wish to love, and to express that love freely in the world, without restriction, without censure, without any form of constraint. And yeah, it's as simple and as complex as that. It is our human right to love, and love is not boundaried by our sexuality. Love is love, and it's as simple as that. The last question Iain has presented to me is, what, if anything, would you like to see change regarding LGBT rights? And that's a complex question. I guess on a personal level, what I would like to see, not so much change, but continue, because I believe we're in the process of change on this issue, as individuals, as communities, as a world. And the thing I'd like to see continue is our ability to see each other, to hear each other, to reach out to try to understand each other, and to recognize that we might be very different in how we perceive each other in the world, but there's more that unites us than divides us if we so allow ourselves to see our unity and commonality. And yeah, there will be many in different faith communities who would have a very different understanding of LGBT issues. And I would ask that we can be compassionate to each other in exploring our understanding, in learning from each other, and growing in greater tolerance of the need for people to simply be accepted for who they are. And really, at the very heart of faith is that sense of exploring, who am I in the world, and what does this world mean to me? And so in all of that, and the LGBT dimension to that, and the issue of sexualities, is really a search for us to explore, to develop mutual understanding and respect and greater tolerance. And if we can continue being the change and seeing the change in that area, well, I would be really happy. And I think we're moving in that direction. And certainly in the UK, and specifically here in Scotland, there has been many triumphs in terms of equality. And I feel very grateful to live in a place where LGBT communities are increasingly accepted and recognized and valued and loved. We still have a journey to go, and I hope we can all take that journey together and spread that love to the parts of the world where people are really, where people are struggling and are being persecuted because of their sexuality. Yeah, so let us, each of us, be the light that shines out with love and compassion and tolerance to others. And I think that would go a long way to making the world a lovelier place. Anyway, those are a few musings from my heart and from my head. If you're interested in learning more about Unitarians in Edinburgh and the community that I lead, I'll quickly share with you the image of our website. And here it is. To learn more about Unitarians in Edinburgh, please visit edinburgh-unitarians.org.uk, or you can find us on Facebook, and we're on Twitter, and we'll no doubt be making our way into other social media avenues in due course. We're looking at Instagram and maybe even TikTok, and if any of you are interested or can bring expertise in these areas to this 48-year-old, I'd be very grateful. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your days and take good care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.